Welcome back to the Blurred Lines of the Brainwash. Today we are going to have our topic on worse off. Um, this is pretty much going to be my response to the individual that asked about why are African Americans so far behind as far as in economic and financial status. Um, Typically, I normally ask, hey, you want me to tell you the truth? You want me to lie to you? Seeing that you asked me this question, I'm pretty sure you've seen some of my other posts. I'm going to come out straight with the truth because there's no need for me to even ask that question because I personally don't feel like you would have asked that question if you wanted me to lie to you. Um, this is my opinion. I will want to start off with that. And I want to stress that, this is my truth. So this may not necessarily be what you experience, but this is what I feel as far as why the African Americans are far behind. Um, First off, I feel that a lot of African Americans, we as a whole, as a community, is failing to recognize the three C's, which is communicate, um, care, and compromise. I really feel like somewhere within that we are failing. Like in retrospect, like you may actually be good at compromising, but you're not good at caring. Or you're good at caring and compromising, but you're just not really good at communicating. Communication is actually key in success. Also, my personal opinion, I really feel that we have entirely too many. We have entirely too many. Too many princesses out there. We have too many defiant princesses and not enough selfless queens. You can take that how you want. I'm not necessarily taking all the accountability away from males, but I really feel like there's a lot lacking there as well. Let me check out my notes, what I put on there for that. I feel like there's a lot of males that's out there that are, still going through their pubescent. How do you say that? They're really immature at a late age. Like, you got a lot of 36s and 35s and 34s, still acting like they're, 18. So there's a lot of immaturity out there in some African American males, which could also be the reason why a lot of African Americans are behind in economic and financial status. Another thing that I notice is the big one is fear. It could be fear of everything. It could be fear of, what did I put down? Fear of failing, fear of rejection, fear of pain. A lot of males don't like to admit the fact that they get hurt. Some women do the same thing. And I feel like that is huge. That goes right back to the three C's of communication. And then some people don't talk about what they're doing because they don't feel like other people care, which goes back to the three C's as well. Overall, with that being said, is a princess and a prince cannot rule a kingdom by themselves. Like, when I say that, I'm pretty much trying to say that, well, pretty much what I am saying is that it's very difficult. Like, if you don't have anybody that's like anybody there that's mentoring you, that's like an elder, then it's very difficult. It's very difficult for you to know. Like, the best way to learn is from other people's mistakes. And if you don't have somebody there that's kind of like, hey, I remember back, I tried this, I tried that. If you don't have a good mentor, then that's definitely not going to help. That's not going to help you in the long run. And I feel like a lot of times in African American community that there's a lot of lacking in mentorship. Let's see, what else did I notice? I guess I'm getting ready to close. I know we're about 5 minutes into this, and I'm not trying to keep you here all day. Lastly, when I got statistics, I know some people like numbers. So when I was looking, when I'm saying all this, I'm not talking about our community that everybody think is the successful way to go, which is sports or entertainment. I'm talking about like outside of that. Let's see. I read an article today, pretty much was disclosing about that African Americans are actually worse off today than we were in 2000. That's like 18 years ago. You can look up, do the research, but as far as economically, we're worse off today than we were in 2000s. And that's crazy. And I thought it was very interesting that they talked about how the median, is less than $40,000 a year and all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. But what I found very interesting is when I looked up information as far as how much the African American community is spending, it's like in the billions. So I'm not really understanding, like, how are we, like, where is that money coming from? So it's just like, there's money there, but it's being spent on like stuff that's not bringing any return on investment, no ROI. Like, we're spending money on cars and we're spending money on jewelry. Like, I know every time I leave the house, like whenever I walk around, especially like, if I go downtown or somewhere, I see a lot of people that look like me that, got like $3,000-$4,000 worth of stuff on. Like, you got between the jewelry, the watch, the earrings, the hair, the nails, the shoes. Cause I know people that, wear $300-$400 pair of shoes. It's like, do you really need that? But, to each his own. But the more, another thing that I noticed, all this information pretty much started, after like the 1970s and beyond, just due to the fact that, that's where all this data that I found was coming from, because no one was keeping track of the Department of Labor until about the 1970s. So that's where a lot of this statistics and stuff that I'm getting is coming from. And like all the way up from the 1970s all the way up to now. Let's see. Also, I know that another reason that's why black people a lot of African Americans are worse off now is because it's difficult to go up the ladder as far as within a company. So a lot of individuals having a hard time finding a job, even outside of being arrested or having a criminal record. It's just difficult for some people to find a job, or one that they feel that they're worth. Because a lot of people don't want to work at McDonald's, and I feel like that goes right back to the compromise. And sometimes you gotta go out there and compromise, work at McDonald's to at least get something versus getting nothing until you're able to grow to where you want to be at. But that's just me and my soapbox. Oh, I saw it in the study. It said that a lot of African Americans aren't being hired due to them having an urban or an ethnic name. Thought that was very interesting. So if your name is like Boquisha, you probably not gonna get hired. So I saw that was in one of the studies, and they talked about like and nowadays it's like 1 out of every 4 African Americans are living in poverty, which I thought that was very interesting. And after talking to one of my co-workers, well, he's not anymore, but I was having a nice little chat, and we found it interesting that, but a lot of African Americans, especially the males, we're either underqualified or we're overqualified. So if you're underqualified, you're going to have to get that job that's not going to help you pay any bills, especially if you got a kid. And then if you overqualify, then you can't get a job because it's like, hey, you got too much experience. We're not going to pay you this amount of money. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. So I kind of sort of get the statistics, but I say all of this to say that we know the statistics. You can't unlearn something. We know that we know that as of 2018, we were doing better in 2000, which me personally, 2000 was awesome. I graduated in 2001, so I thought that was pretty amazing. But I remember that 1999, 2000s. Hey, that's when the music was on. Little John was out there. But anyway, that I like to call that the Angela Bassett movement. But anyway, that's just me. But I just want to say, like, we know this information. So if you are an African American and you are having problems getting a job, or you're trying to go somewhere, you're trying to be somebody, let's wake up and pay attention. It's like, so, like, what are we doing wrong as a whole? Like, we need to be communicating, we need to be caring, and we need to be I forgot what my third C was. Oh, compromising. But don't look at too many of us look at compromising as giving up. It's like we can't just sit out here and just run out in the world and don't do anything at all because you know that you're going to be discriminated against. Because that's what everybody wants to put. That if you had to boil all this down from that study, that's what I got. They want to boil everything down to discrimination. Cool. Could be discrimination, could not be discrimination. But guess what? We're still here. So that means that we still need to do something in order to live the happy life that we want to live. Money's not always the answer, but I'm saying you definitely want to be comfortable and you don't want to be doing anything that you got to look over your shoulder every 5 seconds. So with that being said, you already know what's out there in the world. So why not start communicating to people that you think can help you? Or why not reach out to people like, hey, you have services that you can offer. Find something that you love to do and charge for it. Start your own business. That's a good way to go ahead and break this whole entire cycle. You're not going to fire yourself. Well, some people. Well, anyway, typically you're not going to fire yourself. So why not start your own business? Why not do something that you love and then get paid for it? Easy day. And that's pretty much my response to the gentleman's question that asked me, why do you feel like African Americans are still behind? I know it was kind of long-winded. I definitely was going to go a lot deeper into this, but yeah, I went ahead and didn't want to do that. I want to kind of just give out this information like this, and hopefully this sparks up some conversation coming back and forth. So then that way I can make another video off of this and go deeper into it. But we'll see how it goes. We're doing videos for the blurred lines of the Brainwashed, doing videos about twice a month. So see you at the next one. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. If you have any thoughts or you want to say anything, I would love to hear it, especially if all different genders, races, like everybody's welcome. I would love to hear what anybody has to say about that whole topic. But be respectful. Remember that, we're not about trying to talk about anybody or bash anybody. We're just, seeking knowledge. Knowledge is power. And if you have anything to retort that, then feel free. If I'm wrong, say I'm wrong, and let's post some of them scholarly articles up there and let's see what we got. But either way you look at it, I appreciate you listening, and I'm out.